Hello guys, welcome to another backtesting video. This is the 38th backtest that I'm doing. The data is of 23rd April, as you can see right here. The trade was taken on Tuesday. On Tuesday there was news. Tuesday there was a lot of news, even though I decided to take a trade. And if my setup is there, why not, right? But it was very low probability day to trade because it was it was a very high impact news driven day. And yeah, I decided to take the trade because the bias was so clear. As you can see, the weekly bias was bearish, so obviously it was not aligning with the weekly bias being bearish, but the daily was bullish. Even though the weekly bias was bearish, the daily was so clean. Daily was literally rejecting from a daily demand zone, very strong demand zone, fair value gap, market structure shift, and with the bias, right? So this was a daily demand that the market made. Huge buyers came in, so I anticipated to have for it to happen again. So for it to happen again, I need the market to show me confirmation. It also showed me confirmation, a bullish pin bar. To be honest, it was a low probability trade because the weekly and the daily were not aligning. Even though I decided to take the trade and to fill up this fair value gap, the idea behind this trade was the market was so bearish, making lower highs and lower lows, breaking structure to the downside. So it made sense for the market to come back to the OTE level, fill up the fair value gap, come to this supply, and then continue to the downside with the trend, right? So keeping that in mind, I was looking for sells, and if I go to DXY to confirm the bias, DXY was not clear, but even though it was heading towards bearish rather than bullish. As you can see, it was a bearish kind of candle. It was a doji, but the sellers were clearly the winner here. And if we are bearish, I was targeting this daily fair value gap to fill up this daily fair value gap. And this was the DXY. I was anticipating for the daily fair value gap to fill, and also it was respecting a daily supply zone, which was valid due to this break of structure. And also the market has been bullish for a long time, and yeah, a pullback made sense, right? At least to the equilibrium or OTE level of the Fibonacci. Whenever the market changes character or break structure, I use Fibonacci to anticipate the retracement. That's what we do. So that is when I go to the lower time frames, like 4 hourly, to look for any demand zones. Obviously, if I'm looking for buys, my bias changed, right? And also one more thing was the previous week low was taken on GU. As you can see, this is the previous week low, right? And the previous week high on DXY was not taken. So let me show you. Very interesting. On DXY, the previous week high was so far away from being taken, whereas on GU, the previous week low was taken. So they were also not doing same things, which is very interesting. And yeah, that gave me more confidence that yeah, DXY might now continue down because the bias was bearish, and so on and so forth. It was a very tricky trade, but yeah, it was a winner, and I'm back testing, so I'm trying every single conditions. So thought of showing it to you guys. So the market opened somewhere around here, and if I'm looking for buys, I have to look for demand zone. On the H1 there was no demand. As you can see, this was the lower low, lower high. So this is when I go to the M30 to look for demand zones. I was not planning to take a trade, but I saw this lower highs, lower lows here on the M30. This is the change of character. It's a very strong demand, so I kind of marked this demand on the M30 and just anticipated this to happen, right? And also on the DXY, I got a M30 supply right here, so it was also aligning with the M30 supply. The Asian range was so clean, so this trade was purely based on the Asian range being so clean. And also there was previous structural liquidity sweep, Asian low liquidity sweep, the M15 demand mitigation, and M15 rejection. Everything we want to see in a trade, inducement, as you can see, everything we want to see in a trade was present in this trade, right? And the bias was also bullish. It was a B setup. Don't know if I would have taken this trade in the live markets, and even if I had taken, it would be a low risk trade. I would obviously lower my risk. And also it was SMT. There was SMT. The DXY had taken the previous day low, and GU didn't took the previous day high. So also it made sense for us to do that, and yeah, it was a winner. Beautiful trade. What I want is to 9 risk to reward, and a win is a win. Add this in the journal, in the backtesting list, and yeah.